So the return on investment, the ROI of a garden.
Kind of like the side of their deck, their patio, whatever, into a living herb wall.
We're seeing, I feel like the last 5 years in gardening have been a wild ride. I mean, we have...
Not even, then take it off, throw it in the compost.
Yeah.
And the next day you'll have a perfect rhubarb shape of dead grass.
I want to invest in like drip tape or something that I can put from like one end of my yard to the other side. I don't even care. I'll even download an app. I don't even care.
The Helpful Gardeners, the podcast that digs into the buzziest plant trends and news you need to know, regardless of your growing zone. Colin is a skilled horticulturist with decades of growing experience across Canada. Brandi is the greenest of green thumbs with a love of asking questions. Welcome to our Garden Nook.
So I saw this really interesting article the other day, and it was about some of the trends that we're seeing heading into 2026 for Canadian gardeners.
Like cabbages?
Okay. Yes. Why do I like trends so much? I shouldn't like that as a gardener, but I can't help myself because it's like you get to see sort of an insight into like new plants or new like ways that people are gardening. I don't know. Maybe I'm just such a nerd.
No, I think it's totally legit because so many trends come through in all walks of life and not all of them are going to stick, but that's how we learn new things.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's nice to know kind of like I'm thinking about doing it this way. Am I weird? Are other people doing
Those
it?
Those could be two separate questions.
Well, this article was by Proven Winners, and they were kind of looking into what are gardeners thinking about doing for this year. And I thought it was very surprising because Canadian gardeners are looking at doing more productive gardening. So more edible plants, so multi-purpose plants. They're also thinking about doing more container gardening. So a lot of, smaller space gardening and whatnot, balconies, that kind of thing, vertical kind of gardens, wildlife friendly gardeners. So pollinator friendly or catering to more of those like living species. Also regenerative gardening, healing the earth, using more mulching, rain gardens, crop covers, no dig methods, that kind of thing. And then also tech savvy, which I mean was kind of a given, I feel like.
Interesting, yeah.
Making gardening easier. And I think it got me thinking about how this all seems to stem from a lot of the bigger issues that we're seeing. I feel like the last 5 years in gardening have been a wild ride. I mean, we had, the boom of gardening post-COVID. Then as the world was kind of getting back to a normalcy, there was sort of a little bit less in the gardening spaces as people kind of got to do more travel and that kind of thing. And now we're hitting a space where, especially in Canada, there's a lot of fear, I guess, when it comes to food, wanting to spend our dollars a little bit more smartly. Yep. And then also just because we're trying to work and afford everything, then we're trying to find tools that will help us save time and effort. So if you're thinking about like smart irrigation or smart lawn mowing or those more mundane tasks, trying to, give them to a more automatic being, I guess. And so I kind of got me thinking about the whole like the return on investment, the ROI of a garden.
Okay, yeah.
And it's something that's very heavily in me this year because I'm actually starting to plant our own garden for the first time, really. Yep. I mean, we had a townhouse. For anybody who doesn't know my story, we started off in a townhouse, my husband and I, and we had a concrete pad. We did not have a garden. We did a lot of container gardens. And then we moved into a house, I would say 2 years ago now. Yep. And then the first year, we followed the advice of not doing anything. We just wanted to observe and see. And then we had a baby. And then we didn't garden at all. And then this year we're like, okay, this is really awesome. Let's start planning and doing more gardening. And it's interesting when you think of a big project like that and you have this blank canvas. So we're thinking about smart watering and how we're going to make sure that things are growing, but that we're not susceptible to, say, water bans, or we're not out in the garden all day. Or if we have to water twice a day, how are we going to do that with our busy schedules? We're thinking about planting more perennials rather than annuals, more edible bushes. It's just interesting how all of these things are coming into play. So I thought today we would kind of talk about some of those plants that will give you more. So if you're looking for a more intentional garden, here's some things that you can do. I thought about doing Saskatoon and Haskaps. Have you planted any of these?
Saskatoon, yeah. On the East Coast, their common name is serviceberry. Here, they're Saskatoon berry.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, same tree, Amelantia, same shrub.
Yeah.
But it's serviceberry and Saskatoon berry.
Yeah.
I mean, people go.
I feel like they'd be easy to care for, right?
The biggest problem you're going to have with Saskatoon berries, we are not the only species that likes them. Everything does, and I've seen it before. They're a gorgeous tree, and the autumn colors are phenomenal. We'd plant multi-stem, so there's 3 stems, beautiful looking trees. And they flower, they look amazing, and then they fruit, and you can eat the fruit. And you'd walk into a backyard, and it wouldn't be uncommon to see birds and squirrels just erupt from the trees and take off. And if you're on an acreage where you may get elk, moose, bears, you're not going to have a berry left.
Oh, okay.
You got to get out there and pick them fast. A lot of times people, if it's a lower growing shrub or whatnot, they will put bird netting over it because they will be gone fast.
Yeah. But good for your family if you can get out there early enough.
Yep.
I think raspberries are also kind of easy-ish to grow.
Raspberries, unbelievable. Raspberries, blackberries.
Yeah.
Hascaps, I know, are a little tricky because believe I've never planted them, but you need a male and a female. Okay. A lot of them are self-pollinating. They're not.
Yeah.
Somebody grew one some last year and they brought me some in. Delicious.
Yeah.
Gooseberries, if you like gooseberries, are a little tart.
Okay.
But they're good. Shrub, cherry trees, cherry shrubs.
Yep.
Always a good choice, or a cherry tree, always a solid one. So yeah, tons of options there.
Okay, nice. Talking more about the perennial sort of edible side of things, rhubarb is one that I have grown throughout my entire childhood. What's great is they can get really big and you can get multiple stalks on one plant. And I've also transplanted the same rhubarb from my childhood, from my parents' house, all the way to our new house. And we get to, so it's just wild how
Bennett will be eating that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
But it's like, it's just you. And I know rhubarb's not for everybody, but you can really make it nice and sweet. Like you can make, what is it, cakes out of it, tarts out of it.
Strawberry rhubarb crumble.
Yeah, jellies, like all that kind of thing. So you can preserve them, you can use them in cooking.
Apparently that new method they're doing now, forcing the rhubarb shoots, creates them to be, forces them, I haven't done it. I love rhubarb. I like the tartness. I do like it sweetened a bit. They are quite bitter.
Yeah.
But apparently that new method that they're doing actually makes it sweeter and less bitter. Where they're putting like the big bins over them and forcing them to shoot up super tall, super fast. But I haven't tried that. Maybe I would like it more.
Yeah. Just make sure that you have a good amount of space for them because they do get really big. I love taking the leaves. Yeah. I love taking the leaves off and like doing stuff with them. Like,
you want to do something cool?
Yeah.
I've shown a few people this. It depends on how much you love your lawn. Put a rhubarb leaf on your lawn.
Okay.
Stomp all over the leaf. Okay, like crush it. Stomp, 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 stomp.
Okay.
And just let it sit for 10 minutes. Not even. And then take it off, throw it in the compost.
Yeah.
And the next day you'll have a perfect rhubarb shape of dead grass.
Seriously?
Yep.
I feel like I shouldn't do that to Brad.
Brad comes out, there's like rhubarb patch. But
maybe Pam can do that to Robert. We were talking about them on Wednesday.
Oh, you don't have my weeder?
Just like, rhubarb, where's my weeder? Anyway, sorry. If you didn't catch that episode, I'm going to link it down below. But it's funny. I thought of this only because my family are farmers in this, but asparagus, it does take a couple of years to get a good harvest out of it, but it's fun. And I don't know, the little fingers that come out of the ground and they're easy to harvest. Garlic. Yeah.
Yeah. Another good one. You harvest it all and then you just replant the cloves and then you harvest and you just keep them going.
Let's also talk about self-watering and stuff. I know we talked about doing, like more smart irrigation style things. You can be doing drip tape and kind of putting that all around your garden. Rain barrels are great. Also self-watering containers. I have seen a huge boom in this. We just got a whole bunch of pots in downstairs at Golden Acre and a lot of self-watering stuff.
So I've seen personally 3 people use self-watering pots.
Yeah.
And the plants are suffering.
Interesting. So outside or inside?
But they've all been inside.
Really? Because I've been successful.
Yeah. The problem is the name, right? And this is an industry thing. And you tell people it's self-watering, well, that implies that you don't have to do anything. Most of them work on a wicking system. Okay, so as the soil dries, it keeps pulling water up. Well, you read some plant tags that'll do great for certain plants, but other plants, the tag will literally say, allow the soil to completely dry before watering again. Okay, or let the first 2 inches dry and then water heavily.
Yeah.
You're not doing that with a self-watering pot. So people kind of go, oh, well, it doesn't matter what plant I put in there. It is a self-watering pot. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And I've seen plants struggle. So they're overselling a product that doesn't live up to its name.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that side of it.
And that's a part. So it's the pots do work. You're proof of it, but you have to know what you're doing going in.
Yeah.
And then self-watering, I don't like irrigation systems. I like people who put soaker hoses on timers and stuff like that. But irrigation systems are probably the least effective, least water saving, and least money efficient way to water your garden.
Okay, well, that's a good thing to point out for sure.
I like my watering cans.
Yeah. Okay.
I like my hose, targeted watering, like you said. Like when I'm using it, every once in a while, I do hose everything down, clean the dust off, blah, blah, blah. But the vast majority of the time when I'm watering, it's slow and low.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And that's what I do. It's what the plants need. I give them the right amount of water. I'm not wasting it. And that's environmental, my wallet. There's a number of factors that go into that decision. I have no self-watering plants. All of my house plants, office plants, everything is watered by hand with a watering can. I'm a dinosaur on that one. I'm old school. But I control the narrative. I control the water. I believe that is the number one way to success. So I'm leery of everything else you said when you were reading the list. I'm like, I like that. I like that. And then you were like tech savvy, and I'm like,
no, anti-tech savvy. Yeah, see, I'm totally the opposite. Like I want to invest in like drip tape or something that I can put from like one end of my yard and then wrap it all the way around to the other side where all of my veggie plants are. And then I can turn on a tap and then have it, go for 15 minutes, or I don't even care. I'll even download an app. I don't even care. If it saves me time and I can, because for me, it's okay. Either they don't get watered at all because I'm just busy doing other things, and then I don't enjoy gardening. Like what's like
100%. And that's
it's either that or I don't garden.
Yeah. And the thing is, that's totally legit. Right. And that we always talk about that. There is no such thing as one size fits all. Yeah. I'm not saying it's my method or no method.
I'm so offended.
Yeah. I know a friend, Nick, he grows all of his tomatoes and all of them have drip line irrigation in them.
No way. Yeah. I should ask him.
And he runs an irrigation system. Google it. I guarantee they're going to be available from various garden stores, Amazon, 100%. Installing an in-ground irrigation system is very costly.
Yeah.
They have to trench, they have to put in pipes, they have to put in the heads, and they have to hook it up to your plumbing. They've got to put in a control box. It's an investment. There's money involved there. But there are absolutely irrigation systems that you can put a water timer on your outside faucet, run the tube, and then each pot has a tiny head in, and it's drip line. So it's not spraying water out.
Yes.
And when it comes on, it just goes drip, drip, drip.
I love that.
Drip, drip, drip. You go setting it for an hour a day.
Yeah.
And there you go. The only downside with them, and I could be wrong on this would be more on the timer, they don't have a rain gauge.
Oh.
So a rain gauge, it's really simple. It's normally a cup somewhere outside. It's normally attached to your house, but not covered.
Yeah.
If it fills up with a certain amount of water, there's basically a stopcock. So it comes up and it shuts your irrigation off.
Nice. Okay.
Then as that dries out, the ground is drying out, that goes down, irrigation comes back on.
Yeah.
So when you see, it's pouring rain and somebody's irrigation system is going, they don't have a rain sensor.
Okay.
I don't believe those ones that you can buy. I don't believe I've ever seen a water timer that has a rain gauge. I'm not going to say that they're not out there. I've never seen one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Some options for
100%.
sure, right? Some options.
Yep.
And then also talking about vertical growth systems. So, gosh, I have seen some creativity out there. I have 100%. Seen structures.
Yep.
I have seen people utilize They're fences, which I often wonder if you can weigh down a side of a fence too much. Can you?
Yes, but if your fence is built properly with the correct spacing of posts and concreted in, you would need either your wood is very old and starting to rot, or you have a ton of weight on it.
Okay, I just imagine like a backyard. It's like every bit of that fence is used by a pot.
And you can, but you can also, these videos I like because you know it's not AI, but where somebody does like a time-lapse video of them building something.
Yeah.
And they did it with pallets and they turned kind of like the side of their deck, their patio, whatever, into a living herb wall.
Oh.
And it was next to their barbecue and it was all done with pallets and it looked really rustic and fun and cool. And I was like, I appreciate that.
Oh, see, I love that.
Yeah.
This is why I'm on the internet so many, for so many hours. Because it's just
so
like
many creative people out there.
Yes. And I think that, with all of these sort of trends that we're seeing, you're going to see a lot more of these style of content online this year. So if you're doing some hunting around and trying to find some inspiration for your garden this year, head online for this instance. Just keep in mind, as we do every time we talk about online stuff, is make sure that you're not getting bamboozled by thinking you can grow a Japanese maple in Calgary.
Or that it's a legit project. It's not AI.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes I see those videos of like landscaping and it's like, I see it and I'm like, okay, like, what was it? I saw this person, this one video, somebody made like a pool in the shape of a Game Boy. And then they put plants in it. And I was like, no, that does not, because it just looked fake.
You know what I saw? I saw something actually really cool that was legit.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, I like this one. Somebody had an old canoe.
Yeah.
And they weren't using it anymore.
Yeah.
So they converted it, instead of putting it on water, they filled it with water.
Oh.
And they converted it into a backyard pond.
Okay.
And they filled it with plants. They put a little head in it so the water cycled. Now, I don't know where this was. It wasn't Calgary. That's all I do know. But then they showed a video of it progressing as the plants grew, and there were frogs in it, and the birds would come and land on the side because they could hop onto the lily pads. And
okay, cool.
I was like, that's rad.
Yeah. Okay. I like
would
that.
never have thought of that. So,
I also want to kind of just briefly, because I got on a whole thing about stats. I just want to leave us with some interesting stats also from Proven Winners. They did a perennial survey and they were talking about what consumers liked to see in terms of the color. So more consumers were buying perennials last year than annuals or anything else.
Interesting.
So people were looking for a lot more of the investment pieces for their garden, less work, that kind of thing. Guess what the number one color was?
Purple or blue?
Yes.
Was it really?
Yep. So purple was the most popular. The second one was pink.
Okay. Yeah.
And then tied for third was blue and white. And it makes sense when you think about the pollinators, right?
Yeah.
What do we always say? Purple brings the pollinators. And when you see things like bee balm or
echinacea.
Yeah, always brings the pollinators around, right?
Phlox, delphiniums. I sat in on a Yard Smart round table with the city of Calgary.
Cool.
They'd done a survey and they'd asked people in Calgary, not gardeners. This was like regular citizens, like not the garden nerds. What was important to them in a garden. And the overwhelming answer. So a lot of times we'll pick something, but we don't realize it's niche because we're so involved in that world. We're in an echo chamber. Mm-hmm. And when you look outside, you're like, oh, damn. Yeah. And native plants were important. Not that high, like pretty low. And they were going through it all. The number one by a country mile, I think it was 78% of people wanted a garden that would benefit the pollinators.
Really?
Because everybody can identify a bee and a butterfly. Mm-hmm. You may not know what type of bee. You may not know what type of butterfly, but you know it is a butterfly. You know it is a bee. And people, they've seen so much, help the pollinators. We need to do this. And that was the number one concern of people who were surveyed for Yard Smart. And the rest of them were like kind of 40%, 20%. I don't think even any of them broke 50. Yeah. And then pollinators, bam. I was like, nice.
Very interesting. Yep. Okay. Well, I don't know if you're looking to plan your garden for 2026 and you need some ideas, or you're like, oh gosh, you're stuck on, okay, I really need to watch my finances this year. but I also really like gardening. How can I do this more smartly and more intentionally? Then there's some ideas for you, right? Increase your ROI in the garden. I mean, there's lots of beneficial reasons to do so.
Talk to friends.
Yeah.
Because maybe somebody will say, oh, well, I'll divide my rhubarb if you divide your echinacea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there you go. You got some free perennials, and it'll take a year or two for them to get there, but you can do it and you can trade.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Golden Acre Home and Garden. Find seasonal inspiration for your home and garden in Calgary, Alberta year-round. Visit goldenacre.ca. The comments and opinions expressed by the Helpful Gardeners on this show are our own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Golden Acre Home and Garden. For more information on everything we covered today and to leave us a voice note, visit goldenacre.ca/podcast. The Helpful Gardeners are on Instagram at The Helpful Gardeners Pod. Keep on growing, gardeners!